Good evening, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. You're tuned in live to the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, we will discuss all the madness. We are going to start things off with the Crew and the Crunch with some soccer, and then we'll get into Browns free agency madness and what is going on in that quarterback room. We will talk some Guardians spring training, some roster updates, opening day announcement, and then we will get into some basketball with some injury madness with the Cavs. We will talk about the Charge, and we will, of course, get into some March Madness. We have 3 teams that made it to the big dance, so we will talk about that, and then we will wrap things up with the Blue Jackets, the Monsters, the Fury, and some miscellaneous college news and sports updates. So stay tuned for all of that. Before we get started on tonight's show, let's get a little housekeeping out of the way. For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has brought you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com, for sports news, the IE Sports Radio blog, our Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month, pages dedicated to each podcast, our IE Sports Radio community forum, and stop by the shop and check out the merch. Thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. And of course, we've got to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar and high in protein. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. And you can follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky and check out their website, planetjerky.net. Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can get with Cecilia to place your orders at sealthedeal_wax stamps on Instagram. And you can find them on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. And once again, thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. All right. And with regards to the blog, be sure to check out the latest blog by yours truly, Jen B. Now, on to some soccer. So the Crew actually had 2 matches this past week. On Tuesday, they played the Houston Dynamo in leg 2 of round 16 in the CONCACAF Championship. Cucho Hernandez scored a goal at 40 minutes, and the Crew was up 1-0 at the half. Houston had a penalty kick goal at the 89th minute, tying the score at 1-1, and that was after a handball by the Crew right in front of the goal. Tough break right there. So the final was 1-1, but because the Crew beat Houston in Houston, they move on, winning the series 2-1. The Crew will face a Tigres in the quarterfinals. Cucho Hernandez was named man of the match. The Crew, too, named Kelvin Jones their new head coach. And in League's Cup round of 32, the Crew will face the West 4 second place finisher on August 9th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on Saturday, they did play the New York Red Bulls. Cucho Hernandez scored the first goal at 13 minutes, and the Crew was up 1-0 at the half. Then Jason Russell Rose scored a goal at 56 minutes, and Aiden Morris scored a goal at 66 minutes. And the Crew ended up winning 3-0. Cucho Hernandez and Aiden Morris were named to the team of the match day for match day 5. And their next match will be against Charlotte FC on Saturday. They are currently in second place in the East behind Inter Miami. So congratulations to the Crew on advancing to the next round in the CONCACAF Championship. Now on to the Crunch. The Crunch played also 2 matches this week. Friday they played, well actually both days, Friday and Saturday they played the Omaha Kings in Omaha. On Friday it was 2-2 at the end of the first quarter, 3-3 at the half. Crunch was up 4-3 at the end of the third. It was tied 6-6 at the end of the fourth, so into overtime they went. It was still tied at the end of overtime, so it went into shootouts, and Omaha won 2-0 in the shootouts. Antonio Monfort had a hat trick during that match. Saturday's game, it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. The Crunch was up 3-2 at the end of the half. They were up 6-3 at the end of 3, and they won 7-4. And Antonio Monfort had another hat trick. The Crunch's next match will be on Saturday, I believe. For some reason, I didn't write down the day, but I'm pretty sure it's Saturday, the 23rd, against Ohio Extreme in Lima, Ohio. And the Crunch is currently in first place. So, way to go, Crunch. Got some great championship soccer going on here in Ohio. Now on to the Browns. The Browns have been busy beavers. And as Mike Pat in the chat says, the Browns are collecting all the QBs. Yeah, we'll get to that, but yeah, they are. The Browns officially announced the re-signing of Zadarius Smith, and Zadarius Smith had this to say about why he chose to re-sign with the Browns, there's something special brewing here in Cleveland. Last year was the start of it, and I'm just so happy to be able to come back. I'm excited because this locker room, it's a brotherhood. To be around great guys like Miles, Ogbo, and Shelby Harris, and the guys on the offensive side of the ball too, just to be back with them was big for me. I'm just so happy that I get a chance to continue my career here in Cleveland. So that was great to see and read, and I was very happy that they got Zadarius Smith back, and it didn't take long because we've been through defensive end hell the last few years with wondering who's going to play opposite Myles Garrett. I mean, of course we have Myles Garrett, but they keep signing these guys to one-year contracts, and then a couple years ago it was Jadeveon Clowney, and he played really well. And then, he took his good old time deciding on whether or not he was going to re-sign with the Browns. And then he had a horrible year the second year, so they let him go after that. And now we've got Zadarius, and he is here for 2 more years. Woohoo! The Browns also re-signed punter Corey Bojorquez to a 2-year deal. Thank God, because I was wondering what they were waiting for, because for the majority of the entire first week of free agency, we didn't have a punter. And I was like, what are they waiting for? Free agent Nick Harris signed with the Seahawks. Free agent Harrison Bryant signed with the Raiders. So good luck to both of them. And thank you for everything you did while you were here in Cleveland. The Browns also hired UConn offensive coordinator Nick Charlton as offensive assistant and run game specialist. Jerry Jeudy's signing was made the trade was made official, and he made a statement about how he felt when he heard that he was being traded to the Browns. And he said, I had heard that the Browns were interested in me even 2 years ago. To hear that and then be here now is exciting. It's surreal. I feel like I am wanted. And the team has really made me feel welcomed. The Browns already had a great receiving core with guys like Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, and I think I will fit in with them. Amari is actually a guy I've been modeling my game after since I was young, and we became friends while I was at Bama. I'm excited to see what the future holds. So that was also very nice to hear. If you've been around with the Browns for any length of time, you know that there was very few positive words coming from current and former players for many, many years. So it is so nice to have that turned around. Finally. Jerry Jeudy will be wearing number 3. Free agent Joe Flacco signed with the Colts. The Browns signed former Carolina free agent tight end / fullback Giovanni Ricci. They also signed Jets free agent defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson and Colts free agent cornerback and special teams player Tony Brown. And they signed Seahawks free agent linebacker Devin Bush, also formerly with the Steelers. Shout out to Ralph Calise, who is also in the chat and just finished his show up right before mine, the Yinzer Report for all things Pittsburgh sports. The Browns restructured Jerry Jeudy's 5th-year option to clear over $10 million in cap space. They also hired Mike Vrabel as a coach and personnel consultant. Word around town is that the reason for this was that Vrabel has experience coaching both in the NFL and in college. And since the Browns have hired a couple of college offensive coordinators and added them to the staff, They hired him to help with that transition for those guys because none of the coaches on the staff currently have coached in the college arena. So we will see how that all plays out. But it is definitely an interesting signing, and many people around town are very happy about it because, of course, Mike Vrabel went to Ohio State. So he's back home. The Browns also signed quarterback Tyler Huntley from former Ravens free agent. So as Mike said about the Browns collecting all the quarterbacks. So currently, if all news that has broken so far becomes true, the Browns have, or becomes official, the Browns will have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Deshaun Watson, Tyler Huntley, DTR, and Jameis Winston. The only one of those that isn't official yet is Jameis Winston, though he did make a statement about how excited he is because it's God's calling for him to mentor Deshaun Watson. So we will see. We'll see how this all plays out. I'm not really sure what to make of it. I've seen multiple speculations from different beat reporters and the like saying anything from Deshaun Watson maybe isn't going to be ready to start the season. So that's why they signed an extra quarterback. I've seen speculation that perhaps they're planning to shop DTR. There's also a possibility, which I haven't seen anybody mention, but it really was kind of swept under the rug when it happened last season. When DTR got hurt and got put on IR, it was a hip injury. So I'm wondering if that injury was more than just like a strained hip. So I guess we will find out eventually what their plan is with 4 quarterbacks, or if perhaps the Jameis Winston deal falls through. But as of right now, they have 4 quarterbacks and like 510 wide receivers. So, you know, it is the plight of the Browns. They always seem to have a crap load of wide receivers going into training camp. So we'll see. But anyway, tight end David Njoku will be hosting a celebrity softball game on June 8th in Eastlake. And it's going to be at the Lake Erie Captains Stadium. So that should be interesting. In years past, it's been Jarvis Landry has done it. I believe last year it was Greg Newsome who did it. So it's interesting that it's not him doing it this year. So keep your eyes peeled for a trade announcement possibly coming for Greg Newsome. But we shall see. David Njoku and Deshaun Watson's personal quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, arrived in LA today. And they will be there to assist Deshaun Watson in his rehab. And he is expected to begin throwing as early as today. The Browns also re-signed wide receiver and kick returner James Prochet II. And breaking news that just happened a few hours ago, the Browns have extended Jerry Jeudy. It is a 3-year extension worth up to $58 million, $41 million fully guaranteed. And Jerry Jeudy and Andrew Berry both released statements regarding this. And Andrew Berry, that's the wrong one. Andrew Berry said, when we acquired Jerry via trade this spring, it was with the vision that he would become a core member of our offense in 2024 and beyond. He is a scheme versatile receiver with high level ability to separate against man coverage in a diverse number of ways to produce on the perimeter or in the slot. We felt that the ability to add a passionate and competitive player with his combination of strengths excuse me, would be an important component of our offense now and into the future. At 24 years old and just entering his prime, we are pleased to have Jerry as a member of the Browns for the next several seasons and believe the best is yet to come. And Judy said, it means a lot to be able to have the opportunity to change my family's life and be part of a great organization that is building a winning culture. So I'm very excited and looking forward to the future. This is who I do it for. This is who I grind for, and this is who keeps me motivated to keep being the best version of myself so I could be able to provide and take care of all of them. So excited just to have them here with me. So congratulations to Jerry Jeudy on his extension. I am kind of surprised that we have not yet heard anything about a restructure or extension or anything for Nick Chubb. So we will keep an eye on that. There have not been any other major signings or anything like there haven't been any more minor signings either. There have just been those that I just spoke about and the ones that I spoke about last week. So it sounds like the defensive line is pretty set. The wide receiver room is pretty set. So I am really not sure what to expect out of the draft. The Browns only have 5 picks left after the trades that they did make in this off-season so far. So we'll see where they go. I would think they would be targeting some offensive line depth. And, if they can find one in the later rounds, since they don't have a first-round pick, maybe a left tackle if they are not planning to stick with Jedrick Wills, because this is his last season with the Browns. He is on his 5th-year option this season, so we will see what they decide to do there. But they really don't have a whole lot of holes that need filling, so this draft is going to be depth. So I expect best player available or a bunch of trades to get picks for future seasons. So we'll see what they end up doing. I'm still hearing a lot of people saying that they still expect the Browns to take a wide receiver in the draft. They very well may, but they have Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman, David Bell, James Prochet, plus Mike Woods will be coming back off of IR. So that's 7 wide receivers. And I believe they still have Jalen Darden on a futures reserve, and there might be another one on a futures reserve. So yikes, that's a lot of wide receivers, and they usually only keep 6. So we'll see. They might keep 7, but I don't know that they're going to draft somebody, because that means cutting somebody that they've already signed. So we'll see. But they will probably look at running back with Nick Chubb coming off of injury and them unsure about, Nick Chubb and Nyheim Hines coming off of injury, and Jerome Ford's production not being what they expected it to be this past season. And then with them signing Nyheim Hines and James Prochet, I don't see them keeping Pierre Strong, because his only real value was kick returning. But Hines and Prochet both excel at kick returns, so I don't really see a reason to keep Pierre Strong on the roster, and Jerome Ford can also do kick returns. So I don't see that happening. But linebacker, I could see them pursuing in the draft. They are a little thin there. Not too thin, but thin-ish compared to previous seasons. Like I said, defensive line is set. They're pretty good at cornerback. I mean, if they decide to move on from Greg Newsome, perhaps they go cornerback and or safety, but both of those rooms are full at the moment. So if they do, somebody's probably gone. Really the only real opening is offensive line for depth, not for starting. They only have one backup guard, so they do have two backup centers. They did try Whippler at guard a couple of times last season, so they could possibly have him as a backup guard also if Ethan Posick stays healthy and they don't need him at center. And then who knows what Dawson Deaton can do, because he has been out for the last 2 seasons since the Browns drafted him in the 7th round, I believe it was. So he was a center in college, but perhaps he can play guard too. I don't know. And but as of right now, I believe Michael Dunn is the only non-starting guard on the roster. So I could definitely see them going interior offensive line, and like I said, possibly left tackle. And then just depth, possibly running back, possibly tight end, linebacker, DB of some sort. But we will see. Hopefully they don't take another quarterback in the draft. Let's just say that. But anyway, on to the Guardians. Trevor Stephan will have surgery on his elbow to repair a UCL, or to repair his UCL. There is no timetable for repair. Daniel Espino underwent shoulder surgery Wednesday to repair the shoulder capsule and rotator cuff and will not pitch in 2024, and there is no timetable for when he will return. Gavin Williams will start the season on IL while he builds strength back up in his pitching elbow. Sam Henches is dealing with some finger swelling, and he is under a doctor's care trying to determine what is causing that swelling, and he is shut down for the time being until they figure that out. Cole Calhoun, who played first base, DH, and a little outfield for the Guardians towards the end of the season last year, announced his retirement. So congratulations to him. The Guardians have reassigned first baseman Kyle Manzardo, catcher Brian Lavastida, outfielder Petey Halpin, and right-handed pitchers Tanner Burns and Tyler Zuber to the minor leagues. And today they have announced that Shane Bieber will be the opening day starter, and it will be his 5th consecutive opening day start. So congratulations to Shane on that accomplishment, and hurry up and get better, Gavin and Sam. Because looks like we're already starting to lose pitchers, just like we did last season. But we're going to be positive as we head into the final stretch of spring training and get ready for opening day. The Guardians are going to have a good season. Just putting it out there into the atmosphere. But that is going to do it for all things soccer, football, and baseball. I am going to take a short break, and when I return, we will talk basketball madness. So stay tuned to the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo sports with a twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Before we get started on basketball, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody joining me in the chat. Taryn Rodriguez says, have an awesome show. Thank you, Taryn. Taryn is the host of Set Point, our volleyball show. Be sure to check him out on Mondays. He is also the host of SoCal Supreme Sports Show, which is on Fridays. And Ralph Calise says, have an awesome show. Let's go. Thank you, Ralph. Ralph, as I said earlier, is the host of the Yinzer Report for all things Pittsburgh sports. Mike Pat says, it's Cleveland time, y'all. And Mike is the host of Let's Whine About DMV Sports for all that is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And Patty Bax says, have a great show. Thank you, Patty. And she is the host of the Buffalo Huddle, which will be right after me at 7 p.m. Eastern for all things Buffalo sports. And then we already talked about Mike Pat saying the Browns are collecting all the quarterbacks. Ralph says that was a great blog, and I'm a Steelers fan that read the whole thing. Great job. Thank you, Ralph. Patty says, excellent job on the blog. Thank you, Patty. And Ralph also says, hopefully they can rejuvenate Devin Bush because he was terrible with us, meaning the Steelers. Yes. Devin Bush has not done so well since he came out of college. He was great in college. 2-time All-American, linebacker of the year. So we shall see what happens. His father actually played with the Browns for a couple of seasons back in the early 2000s. Like, I think it was like 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. So we shall see. I mean, if anybody can get him going, it's Jim Schwartz. So we shall see. And then Bishop just joined. Shout out to Bishop, the host of This is KC Sports. He says, Jen, what the hell are the Browns doing giving out all this money? I said the same thing. I was like, the Browns are handing out money like it's water. I don't know. It's interesting because, you know, we've never had big spenders here in Cleveland, so it's interesting having a owner with deep pockets finally. So yeah, the Browns are just handing out the dough. But let's get into some basketball. The Cavs. Wednesday, they were at the New Orleans Pelicans. Donovan Mitchell was listed as questionable and did end up playing. Dean Wade, Max Strus, and Evan Mobley were out. The starting five, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, George Niang, and Jarrett Allen. Donovan Mitchell drained 2 threes to start the game. Welcome back, Donovan Mitchell. But hold on that because it didn't last. At the end of one, the Cavs were up 30-22. At the end of the half, they were up 53-45. At the end of 3, 87-68, and they won 116-95. Darius Garland led with 27 points and recorded a double-double with 11 assists. Jarrett Allen also had a double-double with 17 points and 10 rebounds, and it was his 33rd of the season, which is a career high for Jarrett Allen. The Cavs signed forward Marcus Morris Sr. to a 10-day contract. He was formerly with the 76ers, and he is 6'8", and 30 years old. He played 37 games this season, averaging about 17 minutes a game, 6.7 points, and 2.9 rebounds. Tristan Thompson and Dean Wade returned to the team. Tristan from a suspension, and Dean Wade was welcoming a child into this world. I do not know if it was a son or a daughter because it was kept very hush-hush. The only reason I know is because Donovan Mitchell told the whole world. But Dean Wade has not said anything, so we'll just leave it at that. But upon his return, Wade was listed as questionable with knee soreness. On Saturday, the Cavs played the Houston Rockets in Houston. And the starting five were Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, George Niang, and Jarrett Allen. They were down 34-29 at the end of the first quarter, 70-54 at the half, 98-73 at the end of 3, and they lost 117-103. Karis LeVert led with 21 points. And then came the news. Donovan Mitchell is out with a nasal fracture. He got an elbow to the nose by Tristan Thompson while they were both going for a rebound. So, yay. Dean Wade was doubtful with knee soreness. Evan Mobley and Max Strus were ruled out. And Monday, they played the Indiana Pacers. Starting five, Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, George Niang, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of one, they were down 34-25. At the half, it was tied at 54. At the end of three, they were up 90-83, and they won 108-103. Jarrett Allen and Karis LeVert led with 23 points each. LeVert had a double-double with 11 assists. Marcus Morris made his Cavs debut and played 20 minutes and recorded 14 points and 4 rebounds. Their next games are tomorrow against the Miami Heat, Friday in Minnesota against the Timberwolves, Sunday in Miami against the Heat, and Monday against the Charlotte Hornets. They are currently in third, one game behind the Milwaukee Bucks. Monday's win was J.B. Bickerstaff's 250th win as an NBA head coach and his 165th win as the Cavs head coach. Donovan Mitchell underwent a surgery today to repair said nasal fracture, and he will be reevaluated in approximately a week. So hopefully he's not out much longer than that, because this sucks. Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Dean Wade have all been ruled out for Wednesday's game against the Heat. Now for the Charge. The Charge claimed forward Farron Hunt off waivers and added him to the active roster. Friday, they played the Raptors 305 and won 116-106. Zaire Smith led with 33 points. Sharif Cooper had a double-double with 29 points and 12 assists. Sunday, they again played the Raptors 305 and won 123-120. Sharif Cooper led with 34 points. And the Charge's next games are Thursday at the Memphis Hustle, Saturday at Sioux Falls Skyforce, and Sunday also at Sioux Falls Skyforce. Now for some college hoops. Oy, there's a lot. There's a lot of college. There's a lot of college going on. All right. OSU men's basketball's forward Jamison Battle is named All Big Ten honorable mention. He finished the regular season 7th in the country in three-point percentage at 44% and 2nd in the conference in three-pointers made with 81. Owen Spencer was named the 2023-2024 All Big Ten Sportsmanship Award honoree. Kent State women's basketball's Katie Shoemate was named All-MAC first team and All-Defensive team. Ohio State women's basketball's Ava Winston was named CBCA GACA 7A North Player of the Year. She is an incoming freshman, so that is a high school award. Akron men's basketball's Enrique Freeman was named the unanimous 2023-24 MAC Men's Basketball Player of the Year. Akron men's basketball's Ali was named All-MAC First Team. Enrique Freeman was named All-MAC All-Defensive Team for the 4th time and also named All-MAC First Team. Akron's Greg Tribble Jr. was named All-MAC to the All-MAC All-Defensive Team for the 2nd time and All-MAC honorable mention. Cleveland State women's basketball's Colby Maples and Michaela Purdue were named 2024 Horizon League Women's Basketball All-Tournament Team. Kent State men's basketball's Jalen Sullinger was named All-MAC 3rd team, and Von Cameron Davis All-MAC honorable mention. Kent State men's basketball played Toledo in the MAC tournament and won 67-59, moving on to the semifinals. And they ended up winning the semifinals, and they won the finals, and they were the MAC champion. Oh no, that was the women's. Sorry, the Kent State women's basketball team was the MAC champion. Ohio State women's basketball's J.C. Sheldon was named semifinalist for the Naismith Player of the Year. Ohio State women's basketball's coach Kevin McGuff was named a semifinalist for Naismith Coach of the Year. Akron men's basketball, number 2. Akron men's basketball played number 7, Miami of Ohio, and won 75-63. And then they played Kent State in the finals, and Akron actually won by 1 point. Ohio State men's basketball played Iowa and won 90-78. On Friday, Kent State men's basketball played Bowling Green and won 73-60 to advance to the MAC championship. Ohio State men's basketball, ranked number 10, played number 2 Illinois and lost in a heartbreaker 77-74. It was a great turnaround after they switched coaches, after they fired their coach and named Jake Deibler interim head coach. The Buckeyes men's basketball team improved like tenfold. Friday, Akron played Ohio and won 65-62, advancing to the MAC championship. And like I said, they played Kent State and ended up winning. I believe it was by 1 point. For some reason, I did not write down the score, so I'm not positive what they won, what the final was exactly, but pretty sure it was like 1 point, like 70-69 or something like that. Anywho, Kent State women's basketball won the MAC championship over Buffalo. Sorry, Patty. 78-60. And Ohio State men's basketball named Jake Deibler the head coach going forward. He is no longer interim. Akron will face Creighton on the 21st, which is Thursday. In Pittsburgh for round 1 of March Madness at 1:30 p.m. Kent State women's basketball is the 15 seed in the NCAA tournament and will face number 2 seeded Notre Dame Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Ohio State women's basketball is a 2 seed and will face the 15 seed Maine on Friday at noon. Cleveland State women's basketball will play Toledo in the WBIT on Thursday. And I lost my notes. Oh, there it is. 1 second. Ohio State, its men's basketball accepted an invite to the NIT tourney, and they are the number 2 seed and will play Cornell tonight at 7 p.m. Ohio State women's basketball's Celeste Taylor is a finalist for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Ohio State women's basketball's Cody McMahon was named USBWA All-American Honorable Mention. And J.C. Sheldon was named USBWA All-American Third Team and Sporting News All-American Second Team. So congratulations to those ladies. Good luck to the Kent State Golden Flashes and the Ohio State Lady Buckeyes in the women's tournament. And good luck to the Akron Zips in the men's tournament. They're all fairly low seeded. So, well, Ohio State's not, but Kent State and Akron are fairly low. So we will see how they do, but they are they made it. So that's what that's what really matters. So congratulations to them and good luck to them. I'm going to take another short break, and then we will be back to talk some hockey and volleyball real quick before we run out of time. So stay tuned to the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Columbus Blue Jackets, Tuesday, they played the Montreal Canadiens and they lost 3-0. Elvis Merzlikins was pulled less than 6 minutes in, replaced by Daniil Tarasov, and Tarasov did not give up a single goal. Merzlikins, on the other hand, gave up 3 in the first 6 minutes. However, aside from losing, they still did not come out of this game unscathed. Sean Corelli is week to week with a lower body injury, and Yegor Chinnikov is day to day with an upper body injury. As a result, the Blue Jackets recalled Mikhail Putia on an emergency recall from the Monsters. Thursday, they played the Ottawa Senators, and they won. Or no, I take that back. They did not win. They lost in a shootout, 3-2. Boone Jenner had a goal. Alex Nylander had a goal. And that was it. Jake Christensen was recalled from the Monsters on an emergency recall because in that game, Adam Boquist was injured. And he is out with a upper body injury as well. Saturday, they played the San Jose Sharks, and they won 4-2. Boone Jenner had a goal. Alex Nylander had 2 goals. And Johnny Gaudreau had a goal. Alex Nylander's second goal was an empty netter to put the game away at 4-2. Sunday, they played the Winnipeg Jets, and they lost 6-1. Boo. Brendan Gaunce had the only goal, and of course Elvis was in the net that night as well. Their next games are tonight against the Detroit Red Wings, Friday against the Colorado Avalanche, and Saturday against the Vegas Golden Knights. Blue Jackets prospect Gavin Brindley was named Big Ten Hockey Player of the Year, so congratulations to him. Director of Player Development Rick Nash has been named the General Manager of Team Canada at the IIHF World Championships to be held in Czechia May 10th through May 22nd. So congratulations to him. The Monsters did not fare much better. They signed forwards Brendan Harris and Nolan Walker to PTOs to help replace all those guys that have been called up to Columbus due to injuries. On Tuesday, they played the Grand Rapids Griffins, and they won 3-2 in overtime. Marcus Bjork and Tyler Angle had the goals in regular time, and Hunter McCowan had the overtime winner. Jet Greaves recorded 32 saves. Sunday, they played the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and they won 3-2 in overtime. Justin Pearson and David Juracek had the regular time goals, and Stanislav Svozil had the overtime winner. Jet Greaves had 32 saves again. Monday, they played the Penguins again, and they lost 5-2. Jake Gaudette and James Malatesta had the only goals. Malcolm Subban had his first start in the net since joining the Monsters, and he had 35 saves. Their next games are Friday and Saturday against the Hershey Bears, and they are currently in first place in the North, 2 points ahead of Syracuse. Now for some volleyball. Taryn says, are the Fury winning this weekend, and will Ohio State men's volleyball get revenge on Ball State? I sure hope so, Taryn. I sure hope so. The Fury traded their 2025 and 2026 first-round picks to the Atlanta Vibe for setter Tori Stringer. Stringer is a 2-time All-American and 2-time ACC Setter of the Year. She is the daughter of former Browns quarterback Trent Dilfer. And she was named league's best setter in the Puerto Rican League in the 2022-2023 season. As a result of this trade, they released Gabby Blossom. Their next matches are tomorrow against the Grand Rapids Rise and Sunday against the Atlanta Vibe. They are currently in third, a half game ahead of the Grand Rapids Rise, and 4 games behind the Omaha Supernovas, who have also played 4 more matches than the Fury has. Ohio State not faring so well, but they get a chance at revenge against Ball State, so hopefully they will pull that off and come out on top there. But that is going to wrap things up, so let's cue that music. Thank you for joining me, Jen B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, and Threads at BelieveLandGirl, and on TikTok at jen.believeland. Also follow the show for daily updates on Cleveland and Columbus sports news on X at Show of the Land IE. Next up is the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax with all that is Buffalo sports. Be sure to catch me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the Show of the Land for more on Cleveland and Columbus sports right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great night, Ohio.